This instructional video is on Student Companion Book, page 23. Number 6. A fair coin is tossed twice in succession. The sample space is shown, where H represents heads up and T represents tails up. Find the probability of getting exactly one tail. They have created the sample space for us. We could get heads, 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 tails, tails, heads, tails, tails. So we want to set up our fraction with what we want to have happen. And then possible outcomes on the bottom. So if we want exactly one tail, that means we could get heads first and then tails, or we could get tails first and then heads, meaning 2 outcomes are possible that we want, and there are 4 outcomes possible total. So we would set up our fraction as 2 over 4. 2 divided by 4 simplifies into 1/2, which is 50%. For number 7, the tree diagram shows that the sample space of 2-digit numbers that can be created using the digits 2, 6, 7, and 9. What is the probability of choosing a number from the sample space that contains both 9 and 6? So to get both 9 and 6, it could start with 6 first and then have a 9 as the second digit, or it could start with 9 first and then have 6 as the second digit. So there are 2 outcomes that include both 9 and 6, and there are 12 total outcomes. We would set up our fraction as 2 divided by 12, which simplifies to 1/6. And then when we convert that into a percentage, we would end up with 16.7%. In number 8, the table shows the possible outcomes of spinning the given spinner and flipping a fair coin. Find the probability of the coin landing heads up and the pointer landing on either 1, 2, or 4. So again, our fraction is what we want, goes on top. And then on the bottom is the number of total possible outcomes. So what we want is to have the coin land heads up. So we're not going to look at any of the tail values. And then we only want them to land on 1, 2, or 4. Meaning there are 3 things that we want to have happen. That's the top part of our fraction. Our total number of possible outcomes was all of the boxes in the table, which is a value of 10. 3 over 10 is our fraction, which cannot be simplified. And when we solve our fraction, 3 divided by 10 is 0.3, which makes a value of 30%. In number 9, the organized list shows all the possible outcomes when 3 fair coins are flipped. The possible outcomes of each flip are heads and tails. What is the probability that at least 2 fair coins land heads up when 3 are flipped? So because it says at least 2, that means it could be more. So at least 2 or more than 2 have to be heads up. So having heads up is what we want to have happen, which would be the top part of our fraction. And then the bottom part of our fraction is total possible outcomes. So what we want, we could get 3 coins flipped up heads. We could get heads, heads, and then tails. We could get heads first, tails in the middle, and then heads second. We are not going to pick the choice with 2 tail values. We could have tails first and then 2 heads. We are not going to pick any of the choices with 2 tails or the last choice with 3 tails. So there are 4 things that we want to have happen. And there was a total of 8 possible outcomes. So 8 is our denominator. 4 over 8 simplifies to 1/2, which is 50%.